Does that mean question? UTXO basically means your Bitcoin amount. No, I wouldn't say that. UTXOs are really all that really exists in Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin wallet makes up a bunch of different UTXOs. Honestly, think of it's a difficult thing to explain, honestly. But think of your UTXOs like bills in your wallet. You got your wallet, which has, let's say, $500 in it, and you got 5 different $100 bills in there. You got maybe 4 $100 bills and then 5 $20 bills. Those are all UTXOs, each one of those. And just like it would be to carry around $500 in nickels and dimes, you want to get rid of those. You want to convert those into bills to make it easier to carry, make it cheaper to carry. And it's a little bit different with $500 we're talking here, but let's say you had $5 million worth of pennies and dimes and nickels. That'd be very difficult to transact with and very difficult to carry around. So it just costs you more to hold smaller amounts. It's the same balance. It's just how they're held. And on Bitcoin, you have to think of them. Bitcoin here. Let me bring up the mempool again here. We'll go a little bit further into UTXOs because this is absolutely one of the most important things that people need to know about within Bitcoin, UTXOs. So it's important to understand why UTXOs matter. I kind of gave the overall, like how to think about it in terms of bills, coins, your total wallet. They add up to the same thing, but they're in different formats. And you want to have higher bills. You want to be carrying around less weight. But if you think about Bitcoin, every single one of these blocks here, let's look at 877,054. This was the last block that was mined. All these blocks are just transactions. That's what a block is. It's just a bunch of transactions. It's a bunch of data. And each one of these blocks, there's only so much space within these blocks. And that's what the block size wars was about back in 2017, I believe. The big blockers wanted to make these blocks bigger. They wanted to allow more transactions, more data within them. And that has an effect on the overall network itself. That would cause things to be more centralized because people like me couldn't run a node and store all of that data on a node. It'd be very centralized. So the small blocks allow it to remain decentralized because the blockchain, the amount of data is smaller on there. So just think of every one of these blocks as data. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of transactions. And so with UTXOs, the reason why it costs you more to, if you have a whole bunch of smaller UTXOs, when you go to combine that into one transaction, that's a lot of data. Right? Let's pretend you're sending a Bitcoin to somebody and you had one UTXO with one Bitcoin in there. That's hardly any data. It doesn't matter how much Bitcoin is in there. That's just one piece of data, one UTXO. But let's say that you had that one Bitcoin. Let's say you had 25 million sats, 20 million sats, 10 million sats, and then a bunch of like million, 500,000, 200,000 sats. That's a bunch of data. That's a bunch of UTXOs making up that balance that you're trying to send. So it's going to cost you more. Oh, we just hit a new block after 44 minutes. So that's going to cost you more, right? Because there's a whole bunch of UTXOs in there. So when you go to send that, it will create a new UTXO, but it's going to cost you a lot because you're sending a lot of data there. All those UTXOs are data. And the less you have, the less it's going to cost you to send because there's only so much space available on each block. So the bigger your UTXO is, the less data it costs to send in the future. Does that make sense?